Hi guys, hope you're well. If you're new here, my name is Arz. I am a computer science student, and I'm worried about the collapse of the job market due to AI. And I assume many people are also worried about that. So I post videos about how to use AI in order to prevent all of us from being severely underskilled in the future. So that's mainly what the channel is about. Every video is something new. Maybe it's n8n automation, maybe it's a ChatGPT setup, how to better use Claude Code, how to use anti-gravity cursor, a bunch of stuff. So today I want to go over how to use Claude Code to build your n8n workflows. So I noticed that sometimes people, when it comes to n8n, which is this platform here, a lot of times you might not actually know what each node does and how to use each of the nodes, and necessarily not really that important of a skill because we now have Claude Code. So you can see that we have n8n open over here, and I'm going to show you guys how to use Claude Code to build your own workflow in n8n. So for example, if I just click on create workflow right now, you can see I have to go here and let me make this smaller. I have a bunch of options here for how to do different things, like triggering a form or being able to pull lead data from website, many different things we can do. Now, if I didn't want to go ahead and build that thing out by myself, I would be able to just use Claude Code. So here's what you're going to do. Once you have Claude Code installed and you have the desktop open, you click on Code. Make sure you select local and then select folder. Now, in the description, there's a link to a Google Drive, which is a folder. You can click and download the folder. When you download the folder, it's going to be called lead capture because we're building a lead capture which will take input from your website where a lead says they want your services. It'll scrape the lead, like the business, it'll scrape their website and put together a personalized outreach message for them. So you're going to get lead capture. It's going to have directives.md. Now, directives.md is basically an instruction set that I made for Claude to be able to learn and write JSON that we can drop into n8n. Okay, so I'm going to just select that folder. I'm going to select lead capture. I'm going to say, can you read the directives.md file and understand it? All right, I'll send that off. All right, anyways, so while it does that, so going into n8n, what we can do in here is we can actually do import from file once it understands what we want and it's finished doing the build. I've read and answered the file. Here's a summary. So this is basically what I wrote in the lead capture directives file for it to be able to understand. And it says, I'm ready to generate an n8n workflow in JSON based on these directives. What workflow would you like me to build? Perfect. So I'm going to say, can you go ahead and build a workflow which will take in information from a form? You can use a native n8n form, and you will scrape from the form. You will go to their website, find out information about the business, and put together a personalized outreach message. You will then call a webhook that I will give you in order to trigger n8n to put that email in my drafts folder. Okay, so I'm gonna head here, which will take you. You can use now. Part of the instruction set was that it will ask questions. It will plan it out with you before you build. What webhook should I use to trigger the email draft creation? I'm gonna say that you will do the scraping and creation of the draft. Only call the webhook once you have the draft ready. I will give you the webhook here. Actually, you know what? I'll give you the webhook later. Let's look at the questions first. I'm gonna say friendly and casual. Should it use an OpenAI or Claude during a personal message? A structured template, use an AI model to analyze the website and create a truly personalized message. It will be you. Next, what should the payload contain? Yeah, it should contain subject and body. All right, anyways, let me clarify one thing, it will be you. I use the Claude AI mode via the Anthropic, analyze the script website content and craft personal outreach. The way that message is truly dynamic and tailored, let me build this workflow. So this is an n8n builder, okay? So I'm going to just basically we have to just kind of go through its process of it's going to discuss everything. Now, the thing with stuff like this is that the real knowledge is kind of in how well you create this directives file. Like this is quite long because I've given it actual nodes that it can really reference in its structured JSON. Okay? So here's the benefit. Here's the really good thing. Once you actually download the Google Drive folder and you get the lead capture, this directives.md file is in the root, right? So you can make new folders in within this entire folder and then tell Claude all of the n8n projects you want to build, and it will build it for you properly using native n8n nodes. So you have to just keep this file and you can build any n8n system in Claude by simply referencing this file. And the best part is that we have specified a model. Like I did specify that I want to use Opus 4.6, and I specified that within this. So swap this out for your own. Maybe you want to use Gemini or you want to use GPT. Whatever it is, you can just simply swap out the Claude for the model you want to use, and then be able to keep the MD file and reference it in all of your future builds. So you never will actually, from today, have to do any drag and dropping in n8n. It'll always be able to build the workflow for you. So I'm just gonna let this thing run until it's done. Just a quick heads up. If you guys hit your limits, as you can see, I hit my limit, so it's fine. Don't worry, it's not like you lose any progress. I just pretty much told Claude to continue, and now it's continuing. And as you can see, it's moved pretty far. It's done a lot of stuff. It's on the last part, which is writing the connections and validating the workflow. So once it's done, I'll show you how we import it into n8n. So as you can see here, it has somewhat of the JSON is pretty much done, and I will allow this. And that's just a bit of a preview on what exactly Claude is creating right now as we talk. I want to also mention in this time while we wait for it to finish that you don't necessarily have to use Claude Code for this. You could definitely use anti-gravity, for example, and simply drop in the same MD file into anti-gravity and have it do the same thing that it's going to do. Okay, as you can see, it is pretty much done. The workflow has been built and saved here. Okay, so now if I go to n8n and I go here and I go import from file, I'm going to look at lead capture, and here we have the directives file, and here we have the workflow. So click the workflow and press open, and here we have the entire workflow pretty much done. Now this is a basically a way to call Claude, but we don't have to do it this way. We don't have to really do it that way. We can do it a different way. We can go ahead and, for example, if you wanted to use Claude, you can use Claude. We could also just click on this and go and choose a Gemini model, for example, where we would do here message a model, and I will go ahead and choose 2.5 flash, not flashlight. I just want 2.5 flash, yeah. Okay. So this is gonna do the whole personalization and writing and everything, and it's gonna send it to a webhook. So all I have to do now is go to webhook, okay, make this post, and here I'll say email draft, change it to production. I need to publish this for it to be active. Now, all I'm gonna do is go to production and copy this, and I will come here, and in this HTTPS, I'm gonna go ahead and paste in that webhook, right, which is the one that we want to use. And this is pretty much the same. This is what it's gonna send through. Okay, so I'll press this, let it reactivate that. All right, now if we check scrape website, you can see it's pretty much just using a HTTP request to get the website. It's going to extract the website content, feed it into this. Now, you can see it's going to say generate, analyze, return subject, body, and business summary. So now if I go back and I look at this JSON, right? So if I look at outreach workflow.json and I just open up that file, this is what it looks like. This is what Claude created for us. What I'm looking for here is the system message that Claude gave itself. And here it is. All right, so if I copy this, I can now go in here. I can open up this. I can go to write a message to the model and say what it said here, which is that you are a friendly and personalized outreach email writer based on the following information, and given it the information that it needs right there. Okay, and toggle on output content as JSON. Okay, we'll publish this. Let's look at what the form looks like. So as you can see, it's built a form. I'll do this, and I'll just use my actual website, which is this one, just so we can test how well it goes. So I don't know if you guys want to look at the information on the website, but I whipped this up really quickly just for the purposes of demonstrating this concept. So for example, if I grab this link and I go ahead and I put it here and I press submit. Okay, so we have a little bit of an error. Bad request, please check your parameters. Okay, so add a field for user, keep it empty. It's fine if it's empty, it's not a problem. So let's see, what did this thing get? You're friendly, personalized to this name. This is the business. Here is the website content. As you can see, it's pulled the website content. This outputs a quick note about expresses. Subject, body. All right, a little bit of a problem there as well, which we can fix in very, very quickly, which is fine. And as you can see, it should have sent it to this webhook here. But because it's within the same workflow, we're not going to be able to see that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open a new workflow in a new tab here. Okay, we'll paste this in here. I'll press 1. Okay, go to executions. Now let's really quickly fix the JSON in this thing. Now by default, we had Claude use this code node here. So I'm going to show you how we're going to fix this really, really nicely. All right. So I'm going to press Command A and Command C to copy the JSON. I'm going to say, good work. I replaced the Claude node with a Gemini node. Replace that with a basic LLM chain and add a structured output parser with a JSON schema. Put JSON, and I'll say attach the chain. Okay, so I send this off. Here it is. Remove this. Yep, remove this. Add a basic LLM chain node. Add a structured output parser subnode with JSON schema. Add this as the model. All right, so as you can see now, I have opened up here the executions for the HTTP request, this one that will send it to the webhook. So you can see if I press this and it runs, and you can see it's executed node successfully, and I come here and I refresh this page. I now have at this time, 5:27, we have the first execution. So this should contain, if I copy this to editor, this should contain the email data. Should be here. To subject body. Okay, so that's perfectly fine. Now all we'd have to do is go here, go to email, and we're looking for draft, create a draft. I'm going to use my Gmail account. Subject is going to be passed in from here. Body will go here. All right. To email will drop in the to right there. Okay, perfect. So now, as soon as this workflow executes fully, meaning somebody on your website submits a form, you will immediately get a email address in your inbox drafts, like in your draft inbox, right? Because this is now an active workflow. Let's see if Claude is done. Okay, almost. So, okay, Claude Code is now done, and we've imported this newer version of the workflow, which, as you can see, is pretty much the same as the previous one. We have still a few problems with it. So, for example, I think this should say email address, email address from form. Let's say email address from form, and execute the flow again. So my point is that basically, even if you don't know n8n, you don't know what the nodes do or how to drag and drop them, you don't necessarily need to. All you need is the MD file, which I've already given you. So you can see email address from form. So things like this, yeah, I suppose we would need to fix ourselves, like fix manually. Business name, I'll say email address is this one. So let me just execute this again. This one, if we see, do we have any more executions? This one, which errored. Yeah, because it was undefined. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. It's fine. Let's go back to the editor. So now if we check here, we have the email, we have the subject, and we have the body. So now if I pin this and I open my email drafts, as you can see, I don't really have many drafts in here right now. But if let me go ahead and I execute this last node. Oh, sorry. Can I execute that again? And now I look at the executions here. You can see that if I go here, executions, this one had an error. Okay, so what we'll need to do now is go email and drop this, and then subject, and put that there, and then body, and put that there. Okay, let's refresh this page. You can see it's now 5:37. We have a successful one. If I refresh my drafts, quick note about Espresso AI. Hi, Aris, I was really impressed by this. Okay, would you be able to chat sometime next week? Recipients. So if we go look at this, there's a little bit of a miscommunication, it would seem. The to email is not being sent, and it's this one. Okay, now if I go back here, you can see this is now going to this email, which is the email that was in the form. So basically, you can imagine any time that you get somebody submit a form on your website, they actually get a personalized email like this. Okay, then it's directly information from the website. And you didn't even need to build it, you just need to instruct Claude on how to build it. And if you don't know how to do that, then I've given you a whole MD file, which you can, where to go? I'm giving you an entire MD file for you to be able to use to instruct Claude, right? We called it directives.md, directives.md, and that's already in the description for you to have a look at, and you can use it. So this is the file right here. And once you pretty much have given this to Claude, it can build any n8n flow that you want. So hope you like this video, and I will make another one tomorrow.